Meanwhile, the debate is happening. Final debate between Trump and Biden is happening. That is happening on Thursday night. Well, now new rules have been set. According to the New York Times, President Trump and Joseph Biden will be muted during the portions of Thursday's final presidential debate, an effort by the organizers to avoid the unruly spectacle that played out at the candidates' first meeting in Cleveland last month. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that you should mute the mics. I actually don't think you should mute the mics. The reason is, if you're a Democrat, I'm confused why you'd want to mute the mics. If you look at the polls, what you see is that Trump's performance in the last debate killed him. It was terrible for him. He started dumping in the polls immediately after that, before he even got COVID, by polling data. So why exactly would you want to mute the mics? Okay, so fine, they're muting the mics. As in the first debate, each candidate will be allotted 2 minutes of speaking time to initially answer the moderator's questions. Under a plan announced on Monday, the opponent's mic will be turned off during that period in an attempt to ensure an uninterrupted response. Trump said he wasn't happy about it. Trump said, I'll participate. I just think it's very unfair. I'll participate, but it's very unfair they changed the topics. It's very unfair that, again, we have an anchor who is totally biased. The commission acknowledged both campaigns might be dissatisfied with the new rules. One might think they go too far. One might think they don't go far enough. The Thursday debate is the final meeting of the candidates. There were supposed to be 3 debates. The second one got canceled because the debate commission unilaterally suggested that Trump's COVID forbade it, even though there was no medical information that suggested that this was the case. Meanwhile, Bill Stepien, Trump's campaign manager, he claimed that the nonpartisan commission, he called it the Biden Debate Commission, had promised that the national debate would be about foreign policy and asked for it to discard the 6 subjects announced last week by the moderator, Kristen Welker. Those topics are fighting COVID, American families, race in America, climate change, national security, and leadership. You can see why the Trump administration would like to talk about foreign policy, which is a big bright spot for them, as opposed to more conversation about racism and is Trump a white supremacist and all this garbage again. Okay, so Biden's people are, of course, very happy with the rule changes. So once again, it'll be Trump versus the moderator for sure. Now, final note here. It turns out that when people actually look at policy, when people look at policy, when they look beyond the personalities of the candidates, it turns out that Democratic policies are just not that popular. Polls show this. Polls show that Democrats may be more popular than Republicans, but that is a personality question. That is based on social disapproval. It is not based on actual policy. 56% of Americans, according to Gallup, say they are better off now than they were 4 years ago. A plurality support Republican policies over Democratic policies. This culminated yesterday in 50 Cent, the rapper / actor / television producer, tweeting out a graphic of the top tax rates by state. This is according to, I believe, Fox Business. It showed top tax rates by states under the Biden tax plan. California would have a top tax rate of 62.6%. New Jersey would have a 60% top tax rate. New York State would have a 58% top tax rate. New York City would have a 62% top tax rate. That is according to the Tax Foundation. And that is because of an increase in Social Security tax, as well as an increase in personal income tax for people at the top tax bracket. 50 Cent tweeted out, "What the F? Vote for Trump. I'm out. F New York. The Knicks never win anyway. I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people. 62%? Are you out of your effing mind?" So first of all, it's not true that Trump doesn't like black people, but it turns out that Democratic policies are wildly unpopular. So here is the good news. If you're a Republican and you're deeply worried about the outcome of this election, as you should be, if Joe Biden is elected president, and if the Democrats take the Senate, right now, pollsters suggest there's about a 75% shot that Democrats take the Senate. There's no doubt Democrats will promptly go too far, pass a bunch of crappy policy, and there will be a reaction to it in 2 years. Which means that what our real fear should be is them wrecking the system, right? Adding seats to the Senate and completely changing the constituency of the Supreme Court. Institutional changes that outlast the temporary. If, however, Democrats push too far on the bizarre thought that this is not about Trump, they made the entire election about Trump. So if Trump is ousted, and then they say, well, really, it wasn't a referendum on Trump. It was a referendum on how much people love high taxes. They will go for it. They will go for broke. And the reaction will be exactly 50 Cent's reaction. And the pendulum will swing back the other way. Did you know that every like on this video creates one additional leftist tier? Don't ask me why. That's called science. To take advantage of this amazing opportunity, hit the like button.